Psalm 34:9 says, "O fear the Lord, O you his saints, for those who fear him have no lack." O fear the Lord, you his saints, for those who fear him have no lack. That's Psalm 34, verse 9 in the English Standard Version. And I just spent 7 days writing that verse 20 times a day for 7 days. So I wrote that verse 140 times, and I have it right here in my little notebook. I literally wrote this 140 times. And what did I learn? I'm going to tell you what I learned, and I'm also wanting to invite you to come to a Zoom meeting I am having this Friday at 4 p.m. Central, because I want you to experience what it's like to engage God's Word intentionally and in a community. Part of the reason I want to do the group is because I want you to be able to hear what other people are experiencing as they take the time to write out that verse. And not that verse, but whatever verse they pick. Why am I doing this? I'm doing it because as a coach, I do things I coach my clients to do. And this is how growth happens. Growth happens when you actually do stuff, people. If you actually do it, you will have growth. And that's the thing that's exciting. I've actually have one client that I've been working with lately, and been working with them for a couple of years. And now we're doing this. And it is so exciting for me to get the messages I've gotten, because they are seeing how exciting it is to get to know God better. And I'm going to tell you what my process was doing this. So, at first, my process was, okay, I'm going to pick a verse, I'm picking a promise. We are going to focus on one promise from God's Word. I'm going to get that hidden in my heart, and I'm going to know it, right? And so I thought I would pick this verse, Psalm 34:9, "O fear the Lord, you his saints, for those who fear him have no lack." When I first started writing that verse, here's what happened. I decided I was going to time myself. That's me, super competitive. So I took I took my paper and my notebook, and I wrote that verse 20 times, and I wrote it to see how fast I could get it done. True story. And I got it done in 14 minutes. So it didn't even take me a minute to write each one. After I discovered it took me only about 14 minutes, then I knew how long it was going to take me to invest the time it took to do this activity every day. Because I was going to do this for a whole week, just to show my client how it works. So I noticed I just wanted to get it done. And I'm going to tell you something. When your body is in a rushed mode, you're going to feel on high alert. You are going to feel anxious. You're going to be more rushed. Okay? So the next day, I decided to relax some, not write as fast, but I was still curious, how fast could I get it done? Because that was the chatter in my head. And I did it. It was about the same amount of time. So I was like, okay. Now I'm writing the words. I'm thinking the words as I was writing them, but that still wasn't my focus. The next couple of days as I was writing, I noticed some of the words became more obvious to me. So, "Oh, fear the Lord, you his saints, for those who fear him have no lack." So, fear, saints, lack, those were the words that were, as I was writing them, boom, 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 And then what happened the day that I ended up finishing the 100th time I wrote, all of a sudden, the word have, like, just stood out to me. It just was like, have. And I was like, oh my gosh, I already have no lack. I already have no lack. I already have no lack, people. I already have no lack. Why? Because I fear the Lord. And I remember sitting there, and I texted my client and I said, check this out. And I sent it, and I said, today the word have stood out to me. And they wrote back, and they asked me, they said, why did it stand out to you? And I said, because I had been reading this verse, oh, fear the Lord for those who, oh, you his saints, for those who will fear him will have no lack eventually. That's how I was hearing it. Even though I was writing it correctly, I still had that futuristic thought. And that told me this is how we read the Bible. This is how a lot of people read the Bible. People read into the Bible. They don't actually read what they're reading. That's the power of the discipline here of what we're doing. Okay? So I wanted to share that with you, because then I ended up writing this 40 more times. And now I've written it 140 times. Okay? Which comes out to be 2.33 hours. Okay, so just under 2.5 hours. Really? I have a dog over there he's singing a song. Are you gonna sing, mister? Are you sing, mister? Okay, anyway. So I have spent almost 2.5 hours writing this verse out. But what is it that I have discovered doing that? I'm going to tell you a couple things. When I first started writing it, my hand was killing me. Oh my gosh. I was like, oh, but today my hand feels great. It doesn't hurt. And it could be because I took some Tylenol earlier before I went to the doctor, but that could be part of it actually. But actually the cramping in my hand doesn't hurt as much. And the reason why is because muscle memory, right? As you write, you have muscle memory, and it tends to do that. But here's the greater thing. The greater thing is your brain and how it develops, because the neuroplasticity of your brain develops as you get something and you meditate on something. And I'm just going to be honest, this is a tricky way to get you to meditate on God's word. That's it, people. There you go, right there. That's it. It gets you to internalize it, aka memorize it, and meditate on it instead of meditating on all your problems or your anxieties. Now you're thinking about God's word. And it's impacting you spiritually, physically, and emotionally, all at the same time. My dog, he wants my attention. Anyway, all that to say, I could share more about what this process has done for me and my client that I've been working with who's been doing it. But I want you to experience. So if you have an hour on Friday at 4 p.m. Central, I want you to join me for a free Zoom with some other people. We're all going to do this together. I'm going to lead us in this, and we're going to see what the Lord will show us and teach us through the simple act of writing his word and thinking upon those things which are good, right? And if you're a believer, that's what you want, people. And I, as a coach, want that for you. That's why I'm doing this, because I really, really, really want you to understand that when you do what God tells you to, you will be blessed. And if you're somebody like me who loves to write, I also want to let you know it's a great way to write a book. My next book, Consider the Time, is coming out hopefully by Easter, and or around Easter. And I'm going to tell you that I wrote that book, Consider the Time, one verse at a time. It's a devotional on Ecclesiastes 3 verses 1 through 8. And I saw Jesus in that chapter in a way that I never would have if I didn't take the time to sit in his word. So, are you with me? I hope you are. Click the link below, register, and I'll see you soon, people. Hope you have a good day.